What kind of craziness do we have happening here tonight? You are here for what is going to be a monumentally loss of words on my behalf. And why? Because I got someone else to talk on this show. Let's kick those credits! Now. All right, everyone. Why am I hearing the show through? Do I have it running somewhere? Hello, everyone. You're looking at the absolute wrong thing. You should be looking at me, not my. What is this? What is this craziness going on here? Hello. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the Paul Report. I am your host, Paul Kravitz, and as if things weren't crazy enough, the credits that I wanted to show did not run. Why? It's my show, and if there wasn't one technologically crazy thing happening, it wouldn't be a good show. So every good show starts off with a technological glitch. So what I'm going to do now is, because it's a special show, I am going to run the opening that should have ran in its place. So please bear with me for the new credits. That is the new credit sequence that I created for this show. As a lot of you know, because quite frankly, I don't have this kind of drawing power, so it takes the power of SoCal to bring in this many people to the show. So I want to welcome all the newcomers who have not been, who have not visited the show before, have not watched the show before. You're in for a treat. We'll be handing out milk bones throughout the show. So this show is special because I've been looking for a co-host for a while, and I actually tried to run a contest. And the gentleman here tonight did actually express interest. I have another person who's expressing interest. So we're going to be running through some co-hosts for the next few weeks, and then we'll see what we're going to do. Maybe we'll do like Jeopardy, and we'll have two co-hosts that come in at different times. Maybe I'll just kick one to the curb and let the other one be the co-host. Maybe I'll kick them both to the curb and I'll just do the show by myself again every day. So we'll see what happens. So what I'm going to do is, I was going to go through a normal bunch of stuff, but I think it's probably important that I bring my co-host on to the show with me because he's waiting patiently in the wings. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you my co-host for this evening, and who knows what will happen going forward, Mr. Dan Capello. Dan, where are you, sir? You're not there. You're not there. Why aren't you there? Let's see. I hear noise in the background. Let's see. Nope, that's not you. Let's go to here. There's you. I can hear you, sir. Can you hear me? No, you can't hear me. Okay, let's try this. Roadcaster. Oh, no. How about now, Dan? Still can't hear me. If I told you that I can hear you, yes, sir, I can. But why would there be a delay? We were doing this last night practicing, and everything seemed perfectly fine. Dan is apparently right now on a couple second delay, about 6 or 7 seconds. So what I'm going to have Dan do is when he gets this message, I would like him to disconnect and then come back in, and we'll make sure it works properly. All right. So I'm going to come back to me. I'm going to come back to me. There we go. I'm going to disconnect Dan. All right. I'll have Dan come back to the show in just a moment. So we tried to do the co-hosting thing through the software that I use. But sadly, the software that I use, what happened there? That was weird. The software that I use doesn't work well with guests coming in and utilizing it. It's supposed to be this fantastic, awesome thing, but sadly, it doesn't work right. It freezes up. It does all this stuff. So we thought, well, we'll try Messenger. And Messenger worked beautifully yesterday. Worked awesome. We were live on YouTube doing the show, just kind of talking back and forth, and it worked beautifully. So I'm not sure what happened, but there's Dan. All right, he's going to call back in a second. So the idea is that we're going to do this bi-coastal show. Dan is obviously in Southern California, where it's beautifully 109 degrees, and we're here on the East Coast, where it's beautifully 90-something degrees. This heat wave should be ending relatively soon, and we'll have milder temperatures coming forward, because what's going to happen is there's a cold pressure system coming. Where's my weather map? The cold pressure system. Can't get good help these days. All right, I'm going to try to call Dan in and see if he answers. Let's see what happens. All right. We're calling. Hello, Dan. How you doing? I'm good. You obviously can hear me decently. Okay, so let's see. Shift 2. Oh, gotta go here. All right, Shift 2. Darn it, the wrong screen again. I gotta remember that you're the top one, not the bottom one. All right, so I don't have a video of you, Dan. I just have your picture. Well, don't sell yourself short, Dan. You're a good-looking fella. You're welcome. So, whenever you are able, if you can get the camera on, no rush. I'm handling the pressure pretty well. Oh. Really? How's that? You look great. Yeah. All right, everyone. This is Dan. Dan, this is everyone. Now, yes, it's certainly not because of me. Just so you know. All right, so I'm gonna kind of run to the chat real quick, and I'm just gonna say hello to people who are here. So my lovely bride is here, my sister is here, Janice, Stan is here, Kim is here, Mary is here. Hello all. Andre, hello Andre. My buddy Mark is here. Let's see, and Jordan Cram, one of the Cram crew, and Jackie Cram is here. Excellent. Jackie, I'm not sure if we've met. They're saying they can't hear you. They're saying they can't hear you. I got your volume pinned all the way up. Let's see. What is... Actually, talk again. Yeah, you're coming through the board loud and clear. Yeah, he's going through the board. Is anyone else having a problem hearing Dan? Anyone else? You know what I was supposed to do? I was supposed to do this, so let's see. If you folks in the chat, because Jordan is saying that Jackie is saying she can't hear. And let's see. Kim is saying yes, and Andre is saying nothing on her end. All right, so we are having a technical issue with your volume, which is kind of strange because maybe I need to do... let's try... You know, that is something I didn't do yesterday, is that I didn't, let's see. All right, Dan, try now. See if people can hear you. Yep, they were on like about an 8-second delay, so I have to wait about 8 seconds for them to hear the sound. Yeah. Let's see. The mic is on. The camera is on. All right. So if anyone can still not hear Dan, please let us know. He has been talking a lot. Hey, babe. All right. That's weird because when I see you coming through the board, that is everything that's going out to the world. Let's try. Let's go over here. Oh, what'd they say? What'd they say? What'd they say? Nope. Ooh, I just heard me. Was that you? Dan, was that you turning a sound on over there? I can hear you fine. Yep. Can you hear me? All right. All right. So, all right. Let me try. All right. Well, kids, I'm going to try one more thing if you can hang out there. Ooh. Jesus. Let's see. All right. Pass through Google Chrome. All right. Sources. NDI scan converter. Pass through Google Chrome. That's off. All right, Dan, can you say something? And Dan's gone. Dan just left. Dan has left the building. My messenger has crashed. It's now open again. This just goes to show you that with all the planning in the world, things still can go to crap. When I say we spent an hour on this program yesterday, working and making sure that everything was working, I tell you everything was working. Ain't lying, ain't cheating, ain't dying. But it was working yesterday. So let's see if I can get... All right, let's minimize this. Okay, so I know which one that is. All right, I'll call Dan back. And in another call. That's strange. You're not in a call with me. He's already cheating on me. Oh, there he is. Okay. All right. Dan's back. Okay. You should be. Let's see. Let's go back to... Yeah. I wish that could have been heard. I wish that could have been heard. All right. Really. All right. So, let's see. See, everything shows. Andre, I would agree with you there. This software really is gonna earn its keep on the GFY award. All right. Let's see. Scan, converter, capture, messenger, loopback. Let's see. Do I have you in my... Yes, I do. All right. Let's try... Oh! Hold on a second.
I can hear you fine.
Multi-channel. How about you now?
How about me? Can you hear me now?
Let's find out. Aha! You are now live. Okay.
Hey, it's nice to be here. Glad to be here on the Paul Report.
All right. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Don't ever doubt me again, people.
No.
All right. All right. So let's try this one more time. Dan, you ready?
I'm always ready.
All right. Cool. Welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Paul Kravitz. Beside me is my good friend and co-host for the night, Dan Capello. Dan, this is going to be the best run show ever. From start to finish, this show is going to be amazeballs. Why? Because we worked out all the kinks before we even went live.
That's right.
It's like, you know what it's like? What? It's like Dallas when Bobby Ewing stepped out of the shower and said, "Did you miss me?" or something, or whatever he said, and the whole season was lost. It's all a dream, baby. It's all a dream. All right.
It is all a dream.
So, Dan, as I've mentioned to my listening audience before, you are here as co-host because you expressed an interest in being part of this show. And we discussed that we're not changing the name of the show. We're just adding you, the Paul Report, co-hosted by Paul Kravitz and Dan Capello. Why are we not changing the name? Because I gave in to that once before. Never again! No, I'm just kidding.
I would need to get royalties anyway, and we
That's
don't want to go down that road.
You drive a hard bargain. So what I was going to do a half hour into the show was kind of do a meet and greet with you. But since it's only 4 minutes into the show, let's do the meet and greet now. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play, let's see, where did I put that special thing? All right, let's do a segment we're going to call Let's Ask Dan.
Okay.
All right, let's get back to asking Dan. Let's bring Dan back in. So, Dan, let's have the listening audience who doesn't know you, because some of them do, some of them don't. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and your connection to the, your connection, what brought you here today.
All right. Well, actually, my name is Dan Capello. I've known Paul for probably almost 50 years now. We were elementary students together. One of the interesting things, though, was even though we went to the same school for 6 years, our paths never really crossed directly. I think we were probably at many things together simultaneously, but we never hung out. We have a lot of friends that are mutual that we love. And in talking to you last night, we have a lot of friends that we hate, and we won't talk about them right now. That's extremely exciting. And that's how I came to be here. So many, many years ago, I'm a frequent caller to the show, Brian Patrick Zachary Cooper III, who I'm hoping is watching right now. He had an incident where he basically embarrassed me in public. And so he was the world's first GFY recipient. So I'm extremely proud of that. And since I was such a pivotal part of last week's show, I decided to join you in a more active role.
Excellent. Now, tell us a little bit about, you live in Southern California.
Yes.
Okay. And what do you actually do for your day-to-day? Because I know you're not waiting by the computer waiting to do the show all day, so you must do something else during the day. What do you do?
Day to day, I drink. I am actually in Southern California. I'm about 30 miles outside of Palm Springs, for those of you that are familiar with Southern California. And for those of you that enjoy music, I really live across the street from where Coachella Fest is held each year. So I get to sit in my backyard and listen to bass, because that's all I can hear back here is And I am actually a nutrition director for a somewhat large school district that takes up most of my days.
All right. And how did you end up working in school food?
Well, it's a funny story, and I'm glad you asked. I actually worked for the National League West champion San Diego Padres, and I was their fine dining manager, and I absolutely hated it. And a friend of mine stopped by, and he was actually doing some work for San Diego Unified, told me about the great opportunities they had. I mean, essentially, my background was primarily restaurants. I had worked in many restaurants, even Chuck E. Cheese, but I don't like to admit that at this stage of my career.
And don't ever do that again.
Never.
Yeah.
But
we don't.
So anyway, he said, well, they've all got cafeterias and they need someone to run them. And so I found myself working in education, and that was probably 16 years ago now.
Well, so you must enjoy it.
I do, actually. It's very rewarding. Obviously, the last few years has been very difficult with COVID, but professionally, it's been very good because the community has finally realized how important we are. We're sort of a lifeline when things are really at its worst. So it's been a really good couple of years. While COVID obviously was terrible for many, many people, it really showed the community what we do, and we've been very valuable to them, providing them meals even though school wasn't in session. So it is extremely rewarding.
So with all the rewards that you get from this job, there has to be something about it that, what's the hardest part of this job is, I guess, what I'm trying to ask.
Well, I think that's a great question. I think it's the perception of school food. It really has evolved a lot. We have salad bars at all our schools. A lot of it's really the Michelle Obama lunch plan, and it's low sodium, low fat, whole grain. That's certainly not stuff that kids want to eat on a regular basis, but there are many, many federal regulations that we have to adhere to. So, we're competing with McDonald's or Subway or all these places that have whole fat, lots of sodium, and we don't have those. We're not allowed to serve those types of foods. So really, it's public perception of what we do. It has a tendency because, as you know, Paul, we grew up at Malden, and we had an absolutely outstanding school nutrition program at the Chester W. Homeschool, with the exception of maybe the chicken a la king.
I was just gonna say everything but the chicken a la king was top notch. And actually, I actually enjoyed the chicken a la king. I have to admit,
you did.
I loved it, man.
Loved it. I don't tell you that I think that the chicken a la king was absolutely vile, and that would never work today with a more educated consumer that has cell phones. Like, there's no way that parents would accept posting pictures of some of the meals we got at Chester W, although many of them were really, really good.
You know, there was a one memory that just sparked in my head from, I remember one time we were at lunch and there was something on the plate that nobody knew what it was.
Yeah,
and so they had to have someone come out front and say to the whole cafeteria, that thing that's on your plate is cabbage.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore, at least my school district. We work on trying to make sure that the kids get fruits and vegetables through salad bars. We're really working on a lot of farm to school stuff, and we're trying to get a lot of recognizable vegetables on the menu. You know, if it's a turnip, we want you to believe that it is actually a turnip, and we don't want to melt them or turn them into some of the stuff that we ate when we were kids.
Just cover them in cheese. Just cover them in cheese and kids will eat it.
Well, we certainly do a lot of cheese. You know, one of the memories I have, and I apologize to any of our viewers that aren't alumni of the Chester W, but I remember the principal actually removing extra cheese from our meals and maybe eating that. And that would not be allowed in today's cafeteria. The meals are solely for the students, not for the administration.
Yes. Now, what else did that principal do? Anything in particular?
Well, I know that she berated us and yelled at us. I also know that she got into a physical altercation with one of our upstanding students, and that kid really taught me a lot. I mean, he used language that I actually use to this day, but not in polite company. But he threw me a lot of words that I had never heard before.
Yeah, it was
definitely one of the main rules of school now is you don't touch the kids. We love them, and we want to make sure they get what they need to be successful in school, but we don't slam them. So,
it's okay to love the students. It's just not okay to love the students.
Yeah,
right.
Well, we won't go down that road, but it is interesting.
Yeah.
Sure is an interesting line of work. And it's so funny because I never saw my career pathway going in this direction. And I probably would have paid a lot more attention in elementary school if I had known it was going in this way. But it is very, very rewarding.
Well, I'm glad you found yourself a rewarding career, because there are lots of people who haven't.
That's right.
A few of them in this chat. No, just kidding.
Yeah, well, that's okay. It's never too late to be an educator. I recommend it at any level. Teachers, para-educators, lunch ladies. It's all about the kids.
It's all about the kids. I remember when I was teaching at a film school, and you know, the students were, you know, of all ages really, but I really got jazzed about, you know, being there and being up in front of the class and people, you know, actually listening to me when I talk, unlike this show where people are more listening to you because, you know, you're the big
draw. Because I'm the shiny new thing.
You're the flavor of the month, kid. No. But I really did enjoy teaching. And I considered a long, long time ago before this that, you know, would I want to be a teacher? And I don't know if I would have been cut out for it, like at a school, like an elementary or a high school. I don't know if I had the temperament for it, but in a job, something like what you're doing or something behind the scenes, I definitely could have done something like that. But
well, that is probably the best part of my job because it is a large school district, and a lot of times we'll do like product tests. A lot of times we buy food, take it out and work with kids, get their opinion on what the food is, because we definitely want to serve food that they find appealing. And so I have the luxury of having as much student time as I want. And then when I've had enough, I creep back to my office and do some other things. And Paul, while I have you here, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I was fortunate to do a few years ago was I actually taught a few sections of health. And one of the things that I learned is that education has changed so much since we were educated. And now it's about rigor and engagement, where when we were kids, it seemed like it was really lecture style, right? Most of the time, the teachers, when they weren't smacking you,
Right.
they were out in front of you, talking to you. But now it's all about engagement and talking to them and having, dialogue between students. Was that hard for you at all?
To do that with my students?
Yes.
It wasn't hard for me to do it because I have that type of personality that I can strike up a conversation in multiple situations. So when I was teaching, I would go through the lesson and then I would bring in like one student and ask them a question about, so if you were to do this, what would you do with this? What would your plan be with this particular function? And then they would talk about it. And that almost always would lead to someone else just sort of offering up a suggestion of what they would do without even me asking them. So this was the type of thing that, they were paying to be at this school. Okay, this film school. So they wanted to get the most out of it they could. But if I just said nothing all day and I just talked at them, I am guaranteed that they would just sit there and just, be on their phones or whatever. But the fact is, I was told by someone else who taught there that you have to bring them in. You have to kind of talk to them and you have to kind of have that dialogue to keep them engaged in you, because otherwise they'll tune out quick, Yeah,
and I was fortunate to I had a class, and generally I don't have a teaching credential, so anytime I'm with students, generally I'm supervised, but I did have the opportunity to actually work with a class without supervision, and that went sideways quickly. There was profanity and inappropriate touching, and just like as we logged in today, I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to be a teacher in today's society with so many distractions. And, definitely they're unrecognized. They're certainly, they certainly deserve a lot of credit. I mean, even today we had some technical difficulties getting on. And imagine one day you're a brick and mortar school teacher, and then the next day you're on Zoom or GoToMeeting or whatever it is, trying to engage a bunch of fourth graders.
Yeah.
God bless those people. So I guess the message to our viewers today is go easy on the teachers. They do the best they can.
Oh, I couldn't back you up more on that. I think that teachers are the unsung heroes of education, because some of them, yeah. I mean, I've witnessed some teachers that are just total garbage too. But the ones that there are a lot of them that I've met over the years, and the ones that care, the ones that do their best, the ones that struggle to make the ends meet for the kids, those are the ones that are just, underpaid and overworked.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, Paul, I'm 56 years old at this stage, and I understand that pretty soon I'm going to be staring at the ATM machine, not knowing which buttons to push. And it's really hard to imagine when you get older to be relevant with young people. That's quite a challenge. So
I struggle with my kids that way.
It's tough.
I'm not sure if you're keeping an eye on the chat, but our good pal Eddie Zenga finally showed up.
It's about time. The Cable King of Malden, Eddie
Cable
Zenga.
King of Malden. Again, I dispute
Thank you for joining
claim.
us, Eddie.
I dispute that claim.
Yeah, that's right. You were the Cable King.
Yeah.
But I had a small circle of friends in those days.
So I did pose in the chat if anyone had a question for you to ask it, but no one has. So what we're going to do, Dan, is we're going to kind of move into some topics that we have. So I know that you had brought something up to me. So why don't you go ahead and bring up one of the things you bring into the table?
Well, I think one of the first things would have to be that Olivia Newton-John passed away.
Yes.
And that absolutely broke my heart today. I'm a bit stunned. One of the things about Olivia was that she kind of, came around her popular phase sort of started right when I was at the age where I learned to appreciate music. And so I remember many of her songs, like Let's Get Physical. And for me, she'll always be the young woman in Grease. You know, I believe she was 73 or something.
Yep.
Which, by the way, you know, a few years ago seemed ancient, but, you know, at my advanced age, it doesn't seem so much. So I'm really kind of bummed out about that. We're losing a lot of great people now. And you know, like I said, I live really 200 feet from Coachella Fest, and I listen to a lot of it, and quite frankly, I just don't understand any of it.
Yeah,
so I'm very sad to see her go today. That's a real bummer.
I have had this discussion with my wife and kids that music today just it's I mean, I guess it's not meant for us at our age for the most part, but even still, I couldn't. My dad, who was my age, I am now, you know, he got into the music of our time, like the 80s, 70s, 80s. You know, he only lived in 91, but he was listening to music of our time when he was driving in the car, you know. And for me, that was like, well, that's kind of cool that he likes our music. You know, when I listened, I mean, he had 8 tracks. We had 8 tracks in the house. And he had a bunch of stuff like the Beatles, Ray Charles, the Letterman. I remember that. Helen Reddy. You know, he had a bunch of like eclectic. So I listened to everything growing up. But when, you know, in the early 80s and the mid 80s started coming around, the Nat music, he listened to it and he kind of enjoyed it. But nowadays, I listen to the music my kids listen to. I'm like, what in the name of all is good and holy is this?
I don't know. You know, when you have to put the clean version on, something's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was bad that Hall & Oates said bitch, you know, or, you know, Billy Joel said bitch. And it was like, wow, they said bitch on TV or on, you know, it said on the radio.
Yeah, you know, but you know, the good thing is now they're still rocking a lot of these guys. I'm actually headed to see Kansas in a few weeks, which I'm extremely excited about.
Nice.
It'll be in a 5,000 person venue at the casino, not 50,000 seats like they may have been used to in their prior lives.
But, right, but hey,
a lot of these great guys are still around doing it, so
exactly.
Hats off to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, as far as Olivia Newton-John, I was reading reports about her in the last few weeks, and it was just heartbreaking. Said she could barely move. She was in a lot of pain. You know, and it's like you look at a picture of her, like from Grease or Xanadu or any of her more recent stuff. There was a picture of her and John Travolta from 2019 that I saw, and you see this bubbly, smiling, you know, and knowing what she's gone through over the years with the breast cancer, you know, but just to hear that in her final weeks, she was just miserable and hurting and in pain. It's bothersome. It's sad. You know, I mean, a few years ago we lost, you know, in 2016 we lost a lot of people in the entertainment industry. You know, thinking about a world without Prince. You know, I was driving in the car the other day. I was driving down to Connecticut to help my stepson move from Amherst, Mass. to his new apartment in Middleton, and I was thinking, we're never going to get any true new songs out of Prince ever again. You know, the stuff in his archives that his people may release, but there'll be never anything new from Prince or Michael Jackson or Tom Petty, David Bowie. All these talents gone.
I was just going to say David Bowie. You know, Prince and David Bowie when I was young were never my favorites. But now that I'm older, I appreciate them a lot more.
Yeah.
It's interesting, you know, when you watch these TV shows and they're going back to the 80s and really all these songs they really, you know, it really was, I don't even know what I'm looking to say here. It's kind of define the era, right? I mean, but I mean, I think a lot of people can enjoy them now when maybe they didn't enjoy them then. And then the best thing is Amazon, right? Where you can just essentially, pick and choose whatever you want. You don't have to sit there and wait 30 minutes for your song to come on the radio.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's something that, you know, my children and children today will just never, ever, ever experience. You know, the idea that they have to wait for something. You know, you want to hear your favorite song? Okay, got it. We had to wait by the boom box with the tape inside, with the record button ready to go, waiting for the DJ to shut up or not say anything when he announces a song, and get it right as it starts, and then stop it before the DJ talks.
5 seconds. Those were good days. But they made us better people.
Yeah, but so Olivia Newton-John at 73 passed away from difficulties, or what do they call it? Complications from breast cancer. So
so the takeaway, people, is make sure you stay on your doctor appointments, get it taken care of.
Yep.
Lots of fiber. Do what you got to do.
And I should also add that men should also get a breast exam from their doctor. While there's only a 1% chance that men will get breast cancer, you don't want to be the 1%. Now, I've been very vocal about my health over the years. I've had the health update for the last year and a half since my cancer from 2020. But one of the things that I have is called a BRCA1 gene mutation. And what that does is it makes me a higher risk for all types of cancer. Now, I'm saying this in humor, but the long and short of it is that, get yourself checked out, because for men who have this mutation, your risk of breast cancer goes from 1% to 1.23. Wow. So that's huge. Yeah. So, but in all seriousness, men, I know it's not something you think of, but it doesn't hurt once in a while to ask your doctor, hey, can you just check me out, make sure I don't have anything here that could be construed as foreign. So,
and Paul, are you on Ancestry.com at all? Have you ever taken the Ancestry DNA test?
I have not, because I'm afraid what I'll find out.
The reason I mention it is you can actually download your data, not to get too technical, onto an Excel spreadsheet and upload it into other databases. And I don't recall the name right now, but I know there's one that will check your genetic genome against things like the BRCA1 and those types of things. So, those are certainly, the way genetics has just exploded in the last few years is very good. Did we get a comment that made you laugh?
We did, yeah. Eddie Zenga was saying, hey, Doc, can you cop a feel? Hashtag me too, Eddie. Hashtag me too. Okay, mister?
This is the problem with being 8 years old and having unfettered access to Cinemax.
That's right.
Eddie, you started young, my friend.
Yeah, he had the scrambled porn before everybody else.
Yeah, I had to wait for the lines to go straight. Eddie had it right in his house. Those were the good old days.
Those were. So you offered up a story to me earlier about something about Trump and toilets.
Yeah, I guess our president, I was actually reading an article today by Maggie Haberman, who was a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist for, I believe, the New York Times. Mm-hmm. And she did a very good article about the fact that as a 45, evidently he cannot afford a shredder, and he was just ripping up toilet paper and throwing it down the can, which is certainly no way to treat top secret documents.
Yeah. So now, I do have a picture of it. I do have a picture of the toilet that was in that article, so I'm going to show that now. Now, I am of the opinion that, one, how did she get these pictures?
Yeah, I thought about that as well.
And two, it's kind of convenient that the word Roger is right on top. So I would question the validity of the picture from that article, but being that, what was her name again? I'm sorry, Maggie is a Pulitzer Prize winner and probably has a set of, ethics. She attached her name to the picture. Yeah. So, for her to do that, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that it's a real picture of the toilet, which again, I don't know how she would have gotten it. So, But
Paul, I just thought it was an interesting story. I have to tell you that I don't believe anything on any side of the political landscape at this time. I think we're completely polarized into our own little belief system. But I did enjoy reading that article, especially as it relates to Hillary, who, as we know, was allegedly had a whole bunch of classified emails on a private email server, which, by the way, I have multiple email addresses and I can't keep all that straight. But, generally the stuff that I'm sending around, it's not too critical if it winds up in the wrong hands.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I have too many email addresses that I keep stuff on, and it's like, I'm going to create this one just to send junk mail to, and then I realize I really like the name of it, so I start using it. It's horrible.
Oh yeah, and then and how easy is it now when they just ask you like log in using Google, right? It seems so simple.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm getting spam blasted by Google and in my email, and it is really hard to keep it all straight. But anyway, I thought that was a very interesting article.
I did read through it, and it definitely had some interesting parts to it. I actually read an article. Let me pull up my notes here because I only took down the gist of it, and a woman said that with the FBI invasion, I guess you'd say, the FBI going into Mar-a-Lago and going after Trump and the documents that the National Archive is looking for, this person who was his communications secretary said that we just handed him the 2024 election. And I don't know why she feels that way. Like if they were going there on a search warrant, and from what I understand, what I read is that it was for the National Archives to get documents back that were not supposed to leave the White House. If they went there for a purpose, then where's the wrongdoing, right?
Yeah.
And I read a quote, and it's not so much I'm picking on Trump, but the quote makes no sense to me, where he says, this is unfair. I was not given any notice to the FBI raid. Like, you don't get a notice when the FBI raids you. It's part of the raid. It's the element of surprise.
If you get 48 hours advance notice.
Yeah, let me know so I can move everything that I have to another offsite location. But yeah.
Well, I know I'll probably get beat up for this, but I've been a lifelong Republican, and at this stage, sorry, Stanley Wanko, if you're still listening, but I really I can't align myself with that party, and I haven't for some time. I'm really just disgusted with both sides at this point, and I just would like some semblance of normalcy back in the political
arena. So here is the thing that I just learned about you. I did not that we talked about it, but I didn't know you were a lifelong Republican. I would never would have.
Fiscally, I'm very Republican. I like fiscal conservancy in my life and in my politics. I think, I don't want to get too deep because I know this is a lighthearted show, but the printing of money just drives me absolutely crazy at this point. Inflation at 8 or 10% is just horrendous. And I know there's a lot of temporary reasons why that would be, but I also can't get my head around the fact that this is just poor financial responsibility to just be running the presses and sending out these checks constantly. I don't like it, Paul.
I can hear that. And I think I'm excited. I think I'm excited that you're from the opposite side of the aisle, if you will, because I align myself on the Democratic side, but I registered as an independent because if there's a candidate on the Republican ticket that I like, that I feel confident voting for, because he or she stands for the things that I would, want in someone to represent, I would certainly pull the Republican ballot. Yeah. But I tend to lean towards the Democratic side now, because the Republican Party right now is in such disarray, and to your point about this being a lighthearted show, I'm not sure if you've seen some of my shows where it gets pretty downright cray-cray into the discussion. So certainly I like to keep things light and friendly, but I don't mind hard conversations either between my guests, as long as everyone just behaves and no name calling, none of that crap. I allow F-bombs on the show. You're allowed one F-bomb per show, by the way. Just so you know. Yeah, one F-bomb.
Tonight. But, the one thing that I like to do when I argue is hopefully that I'm arguing with someone that's reasonably open-minded, because I consider myself to be, and I'm not, most of my political views aren't so set in stone that I won't have somebody educate me. But I think we're just at a stage it's like a football game, right? I'm for the Patriots. I'm for the Chargers, It's like we're just so tied into our teams and makes me worry for the future.
I have to say thank you to Eddie because he burnt his F word for the day. So,
thank you, Ed.
Yep. He just burnt his for the day. No more of that, Eddie. You're out. You're done. And don't tell Mary to shut up.
Yeah.
Say be quiet or silence or shh. Nah, it's all right, Eddie. You deal with Mary because you got to deal with that because she will find you and she will take you out. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Leave Mary alone.
Yeah. And she laughed at him. Ha ha ha.
Good for you, Mary.
All right, so here is what I'm thinking. All of the prep, I had a GFY for this week, but with roughly 4 minutes left, I don't think that I'm going to give it out this week. Or should I? Should I?
No time like the present.
All right, let's do the GFY real quick, and we'll end it on that. All right, this week's GFY. Oh, hold on a second. Let me bring Dan in here. Nope. Hello. Okay. Cancel. And let's bring Dan in. Here we go. I hate the fact that my little picture is in the upper left-hand upper side here when I have you on here. So let me try. We're gonna work. We're gonna get Teams, my friend. I think we got to work on Teams. I think that's what's going to happen. So the GFY this week is going out to an actor. Well, I use that term pretty loosely. He is an action star from the 1980s and early 90s. And he has recently been awarded citizenship from Russia. And this crazy mofo's name is none other than our good friend Charlie Chan. No, I'm sorry. It's Steven Seagal. I have a picture of him on the screen at a Ukraine site that it wasn't bombed. They said it was a missile that hit. That's what they're saying, that it was a missile that hit. Now, there's some discrepancies as to whether it was a U.S. missile, U.S.-backed missile from. Well, the rumor is that there was a Nazi in the prison, and why can't I think of the president's name? The Ukrainian president, Zelensky. Zelensky bombed his own prison to kill a Nazi that was in the prison, and I'm thinking, really? And that comes from the Russian side of the propaganda machine. So really can't trust it. And is Seagal talking about Zelensky? That's what it is. Sorry. And he's talking. I'm just going to get the quote here. Scanning through this. And I'll try to do my best Steven Seagal imitation. It definitely looks like a rocket. if you look at the burning and the other details, of course, it's not a bomb. Actually, that's more like Keanu Reeves. He's an expert in artillery and blast zone and all this, so he's an expert. It's not to mention the fact that Russia really has a lot of artifacts from the HIMARS type of missile. This is where HIMARS hit. 50 people were killed, another 70 were injured. And let's see, what else did he say? The interesting is that one of the killed Nazis is the Nazi who just started talking a lot about Zelensky, Segal added, and that Zelensky is responsible for the orders about torture and other atrocities that violate not only the Geneva War Convention, but are also crimes against humanity. Okay? Zelensky is being brought up by Segal for crimes against humanity and against the Geneva Convention. Eddie's saying that he's an expert in shit, and that's pretty much sums it up. So they're saying that experts cannot, the news outlet or the experts in the field, they couldn't say what caused the damage, but they pointed out a lack of shrapnel, which shrapnel marks and craters and only minimal damage to internal walls in the available visuals of the aftermath, which I guess the HIMARS causes a lot more damage than what was present. So, yes, he is above the law. You may be above the law, but you're not above mine. Shut up, Steven. That's a line. No, that wasn't Zenga. That was Andre, friend of mine from work.
Very good, Andre. I like that.
Yeah, so because of his stance in this whole thing and his allegiance to Russia, and most importantly because he looks like this, we award Steven Seagal the GFY award for this week. All right. Let's go back to here again because it's not showing my pal Dan. There's my pal Dan. Actually, I'm going to go into this, quite frankly, because I hate that little square. It's a bummer to me. All right. So, Dan, I'm not going to apologize because really some of these things were just unknown, unseen. We couldn't fathom what was going to happen. After all of our testing last night, we really thought we had this shit nailed. Truly, I thought it was going to log in, big bang boom. I had a guest on using this before. My good friend Nestor Dudley was on, and we used Messenger. No problem. Everyone could hear him. Everything was perfect. This time, it just seems like coming out of the gate, we had some problems.
Hey, 60% of the time it works 100% of the time.
That's right. So what I'm going to ask is if you would like to come back and try this again.
I would love it.
Would love to have you back. And what we'll do is we'll utilize something else to do this with.
Perfect.
Possibly Teams, possibly Zoom. I know that Zoom works very well, so maybe we'll do Zoom. We'll try a few other things because I'd like to be able to give you the full co-hosting experience and not the mishigas we had today. So I want to thank everyone in the chat. I want to thank Mary, Eddie, Andre, the various members of the Cram Clan, Jackie, Jordan. Let's see, Stan, of course, Stan, because we love Stan. I love Stan. Let's see. My wife. I can't forget my wife. I can't forget my sister. My sister did put a couple links in there about genetic testing and genetic something. So it's something that you want to look at. By all means, click on the link and take a look. There were other people here. Did I miss? Last week I missed someone. I always feel bad when I miss somebody, when I don't say hi to them. Let's see. No, I think I got everybody.
Paul, what are we going to do to have Mary Fougere Bronstein be a co-host as well?
Well, we had Mary on when we did the Holmes school thing. She was actually here. We had it through Zoom. I believe you were in Italy.
I was on a mountain in Italy. True story.
Yep. And Brian Cooper just showed up.
Yeah, as usual.
Yeah, Brian Cooper just showed up. How many tonight, Brian?
How many tonight?
Just kidding.
That was great.
Couldn't break away from Breakers to come over here and listen to the show? Actually, I bet we could probably check Facebook and see where he was tonight.
Yeah, probably. Pizzeria Uno.
Yeah. All right, so we will get together sometime during either the end of this week or early next week. He was watching Stranger Things.
Stranger Things dance podcast premiere. Stranger Things podcast premiere. What would you choose?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Stranger Things, and it's pretty good, don't get me wrong, but, to miss the debut of this, forget about it.
Forget about it.
All right, Dan, real quickly, what's the next movie you want to see in the theater?
Great question. I don't know.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe more Spider-Man. I don't know when he's coming out again.
Yeah, probably not for a while. Not for a while. I saw Nope over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, I don't really go to the theater.
Yeah, I don't go as often as I used to. I used to go at least, once every other week, but now I'm going probably like once every other month. Brian says he saw the first half hour of technical difficulties and then he bailed on us. So, yeah. All right. We know where your allegiance lies.
What's the statute of limitations before you can get another GFY award?
Well, I can put something in the bylaws tonight that says we can award another one right away.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, so here's the deal. Next week, we're going to be back at this. It's going to run a whole lot smoother. We're going to have more of a format that will work, because we had a format this week, but we didn't get to it because of the delays. So hopefully, not hopefully, positivity will reign supreme. We will definitely have a great show next week with my co-host, Dan, which now I'm remembering I have to go to my left to show on my right because I'm in reverse. So, and I didn't use an F-bomb this week, so maybe I might burn 2 next week. Normally I don't carry them over, but maybe I'll use 2 next week. We'll see.
That sounds dynamite.
All right. Oh, wait, I got to find out. How old is John and Jackie's child? College?
26.
Okay, perfect. We can swear then. Okay. I like to be conscious of such things, so...
we appreciate that.
So, Brian's telling me that he said, you talked about Dan's profession, Olivia Newton-John, and Trump. So, I mean, were you watching Stranger Things? Because you really can't do both. What did you do while watching the show? Ooh. My buddy in comedy, Jimmy LaLetta, had this joke where he says, Captain Kirk having an orgasm. He went, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. So,
I like that.
Yep. Very funny. Eddie, did you not know that you had to have known? He wrote John Cram in question mark. Like he... I don't know. It's like he was like surprised that John was here. I think he's under...
I'm surprised he's here as well.
I think he's under Jackie's login. So who knows? I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? Uno's. Oh, sorry, Brian. Calm down. Calm down. It's too late to go to Uno's. It's too late. Can't go to Uno's, okay? Stay home. Stay home at Sydney. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. All right. Oh, they're both there. Well, all right. So here's the deal. Dan will be back next week. I will not be here because it seems everyone came out to see you, Dan. So why don't you just fly out and take over my studio? I'm going to take the wife out for a nice dinner.
I think you did really well. You made me feel very comfortable.
Well, I hope so. That's kind of like my gift. I like to make people feel comfortable. And next I'll be like massaging your back. If you turn your back the other way, we can like massage your back.
I don't know how that works, but
yeah, if you turn that way, there you go. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, you like that, don't you?
All right.
What was that? Saddam from South Park? Yeah, you like that, don't you? No. All right, you have to go eat dinner or something. It's only, what, 7 o'clock there? 10 past 7?
7 o'clock my time.
Yes. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this episode of the Paul Report, co-hosted by my good friend Dan Capello. We'll be back here next week. Please join us again, and don't hold this week against us. Especially don't hold it against Dan, because, you can hold it against me, because this is, my name's on the billboard, so I'll take the heat. Dan, I'm protecting you.
Yep.
So, all right, everyone. Have a good evening. See you next week.
Good night, everybody.